Hey guys, welcome back to another video. And so today it's raining outside, so we're gonna work on the work inside in the garage, and we're gonna do something simple. I got a Blitz Super sound blow-off valve that we're gonna go ahead and put on the Soarer. So the tools you'll need is a flathead screwdriver for the hose clamps, a 3/8 ratchet with a 12mm socket on there, and an extension to be able to get past the factory recirculation valve, and a 4mm Allen. And then you got some small hose clamps that you also need the flathead for, and they supply an extra tube to for the vacuum line. And then of course you'll need the blow-off valve, and I already went ahead and attached the flange on it so that it can mount up in the factory spot. And here's a block-off plate for the recirculation to block that off. And there's a bracket here. Not sure if we're going to put that on. The directions, or the pictures for the directions, did not have that. Went ahead and tried to read the directions, but they were in Japanese, so I just followed the pictures and it looks pretty simple. So let's get down to it. Okay, so the thing with the green sticker on it is the factory recirculation valve, and on the back of it there's a 12mm bolt. You'll see it right here. Alright, so here's what the engine bay kind of looks like right now. So I took this pipe that goes to the intercooler piping. I went ahead and took that off, took the intake off, that way I can get easier access to work, and went ahead and got the blow-off valve off. So here was the original 12mm, and then that was the first bolt. And then on the bottom, which was really hard to see, there's a 10mm bolt that bolts up to a bracket that is just past the blue, right where my finger is. And that one was a pain to get into. I used a 1/4" ratchet and a 10mm socket, stubby, and was able to get to it. And I was able to loosen this hose clamp right here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off so that it's easier to loosen the other hose clamp and reinstall the other hose clamp. So scratch that idea. I went ahead and just loosened up the hose clamps and moved this one. And I moved that one up so that I can get access to the hose clamp down in the bottom, which you can barely see right here. And I'm going to reach in through this direction. Alright, so the next step is to remove this orange O-ring, because we're going to use this on the block-off plate. So the orange O-ring is now on the block-off plate. Be careful, because this is a little loose. So when you're installing it, which we'll be putting it basically back where that shiny spot in the dark is, and I'll shine light on it once I get it installed. But you might lose it in the engine, so don't do that. So right here is the block-off plate to cover up the recirculation function, and use the same 12mm bolt that came out of the bypass valve or recirc valve. Next thing we'll be working on is the hose that goes onto this, attached with a hose clamp on both sides, one to this and one to the blow-off valve. Alright, so the bottom of the hose is in and hose clamp is tight. I'm going to switch over to working on the vacuum line before I put the blow-off valve on there, and then it's harder to get to. So this straight hose hanging off is from the vacuum line. It's going to go into the vacuum for the blow-off valve. Okay, so the picture had the trumpet going back towards the back, and I would imagine that's so that not as much debris or anything would get into it. So the blow-off valve's installed. The only thing left is to connect this black hose to this valve right here. Make sure you tighten down everything, and then it should be ready, and then put everything back together, and you should be ready to go ahead and test it. Alright, so here's what it looks like when it's fully done, and the blow-off valve is right behind the blue coupler. Alright, I'm going to let it warm up, and then we'll give it a couple revs. I'm in my garage, and it's dark out now, so I can't really do too much. And since it's raining, I'm not taking the car out today. So let me give it a few minutes to warm up, and then we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so that's going to be it for this video. So if you enjoyed this one, then make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that like button on this video. It helps out a lot. So I'll see you guys in the next one.